What's going on? Legion Rudy here playing more RuneScape Dragonwilds. Welcome to our Daily Gaming XP Grind, episode 145. A new day is upon us in Ashenfall, and obviously the same things are still going on, right? We're working on cooking, and we've recently just finished up getting a million XP in rune crafting, which is a rather big deal. We've also got a new couple of subscribers, which we really appreciate. And if you haven't already subscribed, now would be a good time, just because. But we really appreciate everybody watching our content, and it's definitely noticed, and we appreciate all the comments. So we're just going to keep progressing towards our goal, and the goal is a million cooking XP before Felhallow comes to the game. And once Felhallow comes to the game, I think you can actually expect a lot more content aside from our daily 8 gaming XP grinds. There's going to be a lot of work being put into the game and exploring all the new content that's offered through Ashenfall and through RuneScape Dragonwilds. And for those of you who haven't sort of checked out their blueprint, there's going to be more after Felhallow. A bunch more different expansion sort of things, and as well as also stories after the King Black Dragon, or Queen Black Dragon rather, sorry. Interestingly enough, supposedly it's supposed to have 5 heads, which I think's quite interesting. And what does that mean? I mean, I have a hard time killing a dragon with 1 head. Um, I mean, easily doable, but initially there was death involved. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how all that comes together if you're trying to solo the dragon. Unless it's not meant to be soloed, I think it could really bring people together. I think it's going to be quite interesting to see its mechanics and just the way the fight goes. That's a little crazy to me to even think it could be a one-person job killing a 5-headed dragon. So that's just going to be quite amazing. The battle's going to be daunting and treacherous, and just ultimately a little bit nerve-wracking to think about a situation where I'm going to be fighting something that deadly solo. We may actually at some point have to consider joining other people to do that, just because I don't think I could do it on my own, to be quite honest. But I'm not sure, right? That's just going to have to do with the fact of how they decide to put mechanics in the game for it. There might be little things, I don't know, because then they might have to sort of nerf the fight if you're doing it solo, and I'm not sure how I quite feel about that. Basically, I guess that's the wrong word, so I'm trying to figure out how to say it that would be more appropriate. I guess nerfing is the best word. So I don't really want the monster nerfed down, so that way I can actually kill it effectively. I guess I want the full experience of the dragon. I don't really take too much on it when it's just me fighting Velgar and things like that. I did actually try to play in a map with other people before. It's interesting to me because you take more damage, I think, and ultimately the world feels a lot more dangerous because you're supposed to do things together. But interestingly enough, with that, it requires heavily on teamwork and everyone to be so synchronized, which actually I think is a great mechanic because you're forced to basically play alongside others in a different sort of way than most games. You know, most of the time you can go off and do things by yourself, but it's incredibly dangerous when you're playing with other players, which is, I guess, it's interesting. It forces you to play at a different level than, I guess, suppose if you were by yourself, which can be a good thing. I'm wondering, I feel like I've already picked up all these potatoes, some of them anyway. So is there like a fast respawn on potatoes? I'm not entirely sure. But look at that, another potato. But I don't know. Like I said, I think it's a good thing that they're sort of making it that way. That when you play with other players, you're supposed to sort of strategize and work together to have survivability. But at the same time, I feel like it's tricky because to keep people all on the same page can be a little bit frustrating, especially if you're playing with people you don't know. But I'm not sure if there is already a system in place. Like I stated, I haven't done that in so long, played with other people. So I'm not sure if there's sort of like a find a group world. And then you've got to hope that the people you're getting with are actually sort of associated, that they know the fight well and that can also be challenging. Lots of games have things like that, right? Like Call of Duty, Black Ops, when you're playing zombies, that can be frustrating when you get with people who just aren't as experienced. But I guess the only way we really get more experienced in a situation is by practicing. So even though it can be frustrating at times, everyone should have an opportunity to learn things. It's all a learning curve, and I think it's important that as just gamers and people a lot alike, like that we're taking time to give other people an opportunity to learn things, even if sometimes it comes at the price of failing. And I don't think we're really failing, right? Obviously, every time you do something is an opportunity to learn something new and a different way to approach it, potentially even improving your own skills and learning different dynamics of teamwork. So I think all those things could be integrated into you becoming a better player and also other people becoming better. And that's another thing is once they've learned the fight and whether or not they want to get better or they might be trying what looks like to you might like that they're not trying might actually be someone doing their best efforts. So it's a little bit hard to judge. I don't know if there's a scale, right? Um, I don't know. I guess your first instinctive thought would be, oh, why are these people so terrible? And why can't I find anybody good? But I think it's really difficult because everyone's at a different level with where they are as improving as a gamer. And so some people take it very seriously. Some people just like the casual play. And there's really nothing wrong with either. Um, so it's a little bit interesting and I don't know. It's just sort of where everyone else is at their own pace, and um, I guess it's sort of tough because we all have expectations, right? But there is a part of the journey that also makes it what it is, right? And I definitely think as gamers, as individuals, we all can learn quite a bit from repetition and practice and just different ways to do things. And there's also lots of content online that can show you basically how you can potentially learn to change the way you play to potentially be a little more seasoned at different things. So lots of information out there. But yeah, so we're trying to work on cooking right now, and this is just sort of brutal. Obviously, as I've talked about quite a bit, yes, this is probably the long way to do things, right? The long way, not the wrong way. Basically, it's going to take an incredible amount of time to get levels XP at this current point in the game because what's basically happening is I'm doing things at a very low level because that's currently the content we have in the game. But I imagine that I'm actually, even though I'm doing it the hard way, later on I'm going to be more prepared for different things that are going to be coming to the game. Um, I'm not sure how often currently. I mean, I still die in the game, but sometimes it feels like those things can be a little unavoidable. Obviously, I don't always go to the Storm-Touched Islands with anti-poison potions in my inventory, and I think it's because when you die, it's really not that big of a deal. You just sort of go back to your body, and there's not much risk involved, really, other than the fact that you've died, and it's a little bit irritating that you've got to find your way. And sometimes it can actually be incredibly challenging, depending on which creatures are going to be by your body. So that can be a little bit of a struggle at times. So I don't know though. I definitely think I've learned quite a bit about the game and ways to approach certain things. But I know that when Fairhallow comes to the game, we're going to be almost learning entirely new things because creatures are going to have different mechanics and it won't necessarily be as easy, which isn't really a bad thing. I think it's important to always be trying to learn something in a new way. So I won't talk much more about that. I feel like I pretty much covered it. I want to keep collecting, but I think we're actually going to go to the Fractured Plains and gather a couple different resources out this way because once again, though, it's nighttime. But yes, I need to keep collecting for cooking and using all that clean water that I actually made. And it's quite crazy. Look at that oak tree. Why is that rolling all of a sudden? I mean, that doesn't even make sense. Like, how long ago might that have been cut? And it's just rolling right now. Why is that happening? I've got absolutely no idea. That's really interesting to me that it would just all of a sudden be rolling down the hill. So let's just go ahead and cut down a couple trees in the hopes that we can get a bird's nest. Oh, look at that, an onion. That was well worth it. So let's just pick the right tool to do the right job. I think that's a bird's nest over there, but I'm not entirely sure. I would like to cut down more forest. The only thing is I'm worried and concerned. Well, now I'm concerned about something entirely different. This is ridiculous. Like, 4 of these guys? Like, that's not even a fair fight. Like, it's just jacked. That's why I don't really like. I mean, it's been so long since I've been hunted really out in the fractured plains, but they're out of sync and it makes it a little bit more complicated, but we're doing quite well. As long as there's not a shaman, oh my gosh. As long as there's not a shaman coming after you, for the most part should be okay. That's crazy to survive with like literally 1 life, but it's not over. Things always happen, and like that wolf over there, if we accidentally just aggroed it, oh, there's the shaman, not even part of the hunting party. So we've got to get out of here at least to get some health back. And this place we used to come a lot more, and we might end up leaving right now because there's going to be a lag load in, even though we've destroyed quite a bit of things. So that way we can load in a little better, but it doesn't seem like it's done much for us. Um, I think we're going to move this lodestone. We actually have it here, but it doesn't really do us any good. I think we need to move this. So let's grab it and then try to find another lodestone that potentially could be more beneficial to have it in a certain area. There's lots of animals out here, though. We've got an onion. Oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. Oh my gosh. Now we're going to get brutally beaten. I think this might be a good area to put a lodestone, but I'm not sure if we could survive this reckoning. I think we're going to be okay. There we go. That actually worked out quite nice. So let's put that lodestone right here. I think this is actually a really good spot. Lots of dwellberries. Is that another lodestone? It is. But that's okay because I think it actually works out quite nicely. Let's see. I thought I missed something. No, it was just a different kind of plant. But with all these trees here, it can make it a little bit difficult to see actually where things are. But it might take a little bit of time. Look at that little dwellberry hiding in the back. Oh, and we got a wolf waiting for us too. So that's quite nice. And we've got a terror bird after us now as well. There we go. But no, it would be a lot easier to sort of navigate this area if there wasn't all these trees. But I don't want to spend a bunch of time right now cutting down trees. But that's something in the future that I will be working on, even though I really don't think I need much more wood cutting experience. It's just ultimately we do want birds' nests in case they drop seeds, which I think is the most like logical explanation from where seeds are going to come from. It's just, I mean, I've spent so much time wood cutting, I don't really enjoy it as much as I used to. But obviously, we're not completely done with it, especially once willows come to the game. We're going to be wood cutting quite a bit more so we can build new things. Will we build a new base? I think that's a really hard question if we're going to, in fact, be building a new base. The reason that it's a hard question is because, I mean, a lot of work goes into it. I guess it's just going to depend on. I mean, we're at a pretty good location where we are at the starting area, and there might be resources that are required to do certain things, and that gives us an easy access point to those things, as well as, I mean, I don't have any lag on my loading, but I guess the new area probably won't have much lag, so it might be a good option to just leave it the way it is, right? I will have to teleport, and depending on how far that is, but then again, at the same time, I mean, we've got plenty of lore runes, so we're not really worried about running out of lore runes if we've actually got to teleport a ridiculous amount based on weight and the load. I know that once, like, rune and mithril and adamant and steel come to the game, it's going to increase your weight that you're carrying, which is going to make it more costly to teleport. So Lots of different variables there that I don't think are a problem for me because I've stocked up so much on runes. Look at all these onions. This is absolutely ridiculous. We've got to be a little bit careful though because we don't have as much free reign as you might think right here. There's quite a bit of enemies over there that I sort of saw out the corner of my eye. I'm not sure how bad it is and I don't really want to find out. So let's see. So I think we've gathered quite a bit. Let's look. I think that should be fine. Let's go ahead and head back to our base because our inventory is also full. Let's go ahead and put some stuff away. It's so terrible to have to just keep mixing things. But at the same time, it can be rather frustrating to you just run around and kill things constantly and then you've got to put them away, so it can be a little bit troubling having to keep things organized. So it looks like we're completely out of raw food except for what we just got, which is quite a bit. Look at all that. That's quite a bit. I feel like that took quite a bit of time. Is everything already respawned? Let's take a look. I don't see potatoes out there, so it looks like the red berries are back, unless I didn't grab these, but I think I did, so I'm not sure. And it's just like more easy to use melee right now, but it's probably not the best action because honestly I have other levels to get in other skills like magic and range, so I'm not sure if I'm going about it the right way. I don't see the potatoes. They have not respawned. I would like to get more, but if they haven't respawned, there's not much more I can do, right? Other than wait for them to come back. But potatoes are pretty big. I think it's baked potatoes, so I can use those to make different kinds of drinks. I wish you could somehow intertwine, like all the weird materials I've got for artisan, and I could somehow implement them into cooking. But that doesn't really make sense. I just want it to make sense, so that way I can use those things to benefit me more. Interesting. I'm also wondering if potentially when Hello does come to the game, if I'll extend the amount of time spent on an episode. And the only reason I think that is because I'm going to be spending a lot of time on a game, and obviously throughout the day, so I'm not sure how I want to do that. There's going to be a lot of behind the scenes work done, just a ridiculous amount of time put in, so I want to make sure that I'm obviously showcasing all the different things I'm going to be doing and the work I'm going to be putting in. So I think I'm going to grab like a little bit of stuff on the way back to my base, and then we're going to call it a day. I think we got quite a bit done. I thought that was a potato. It's not. Here's some potatoes though. Let's see. Here we are. So there's quite a bit of different things I can pick up. There's another rat. And the rats are huge because they actually drop the small animal fang. It's a really big deal. You can use that for drinks. So if you've got lots of clean water like I do, it's actually something really good to have. Let's see, there's more potatoes, but I can't just keep running around collecting right now. So we're actually going to put this stuff away, and then we're going to call it a day. We're going to do an XP update before we send you guys off. But 36 more berries. So it just comes in time, but you can definitely see progress. Wrong chest, right? Yeah. It'd be good if we could just keep everything in here. That way it's a little bit easier to organize. We actually should pick out those deer antlers as well. Those can go in here. So, alright, let's go ahead and do an XP update. What's that? Our whip is about to be broken. Let's go ahead and fix that actually really quick. We've got 42, so I think we've got enough. I think it's on the anvil, right? And that's right. Okay, let's check our leggings. Just to make sure they're doing okay. They're actually half life. Let's go ahead and fix that really quick. That's one of those things where you know when you know because you've jumped off something that's too tall and now you're dead because you didn't fix it. So everything else looks relatively okay. All right, let's go ahead and do an XP update. So 335,000 attack XP, ranged 72,000, woodcutting 1,004,000, construction 2,014,000, runecrafting 1,001,000, magic 126,000, mining 4,255,000, artisan 4,132,000, and cooking 550,000. So that's actually incredible. We only need 450,000 more cooking XP to reach level, or not level, just a million XP, I should say. But that's actually quite a bit of XP, and I'm not sure how long it's going to take, but I think I can do it before Fedada comes to the game. So anyway, guys, we really appreciate you watching our content. We appreciate all your interaction and subscribing and things like that. And hopefully you guys are enjoying your adventures in RuneScape Dragonwilds. And until next time, Legion Ruler out.